This is Hattie Hassan, founder and leading light of Stopcocks Women Plumbers. Hattie is one of the very small number of women with a career as a plumber, either here in the UK or anywhere else in the world. She's risen to the top of the tree and she's a Corgi registered gas fitter.
Hello.
She's in the middle of a job here, replacing a gas-fired water heater. I understand you haven't always been a plumber, Hattie.
No, I haven't always been a plumber, only for the last 18 years, I believe. Before that I was a primary school teacher.
A primary school teacher, that's very different. How come you ended up a plumber?
Well, I was always very handy and I just decided it was time to have a career change, so I thought about what I love doing and what means a lot to me, and water is one of those things, so I went into plumbing.
So that still doesn't make much of a connection between teaching and plumbing?
Well, no, but I think there are links, there are connections, because when you're a teacher, people are learning from you all the time. They are looking to, especially the children I taught, which were preschool age, that was 3 to 5, and they're eager to learn and all that kind of stuff. But I find that the people's houses I go into, they're actually, well, a lot of them really do want to understand what's going on in their houses, which helps me to bring teaching and plumbing together, because I do actually like to tell people what's going on when I'm at their houses.
So you actually explain what you're doing? That's quite unusual for a plumber, I think.
Yeah, I do explain what I'm doing, because I don't like to mystify everybody. It's, you know, there's no joy in that for me. I actually do like to tell people what's going on.
Okay, that's really interesting. But it's hardly glamorous, plumbing. What keeps a woman doing plumbing for such a long time? It's heavy, it's dirty. What is there good about being a plumber?
There's millions of things good about being a plumber. One of the things that I really love, and that's problem solving. It's really a thrill to me to be able to solve people's problems and you know, come into their houses and just find things that are problems. A lot I get asked questions, you know, why is it doing this? Why isn't my shower getting hot? What's the matter with my radiators? All this kind of stuff, and I'm able to explain to them pretty basically how things work and why it's not working for them in the way they want it to. And I find it valuable to actually explain things to them, because there are so many cowboys about, so many people who don't really explain things, and so I like people to be empowered in that way, because I like to tell them what's going on so that they can see why it's taking me that amount of time or whatever to do what I do.
So you solve their problems and you explain what you're doing. Is that not doing yourself out of a job?
It might be, and I like to do a bit of phone plumbing on occasion, you know, where somebody phones me up and imitates the noise of their boiler, and I can sort of diagnose over the phone, and they do say to me, but you're doing yourself out of work. But actually, it's not really about the money and the work, it's more to solve the problems.
So you enjoy problem solving, that's the thing that's so attractive about plumbing for you?
There's that, and there's the other thing as well, which is the hero aspect. Of course, you know, when you sort of turn up like Superwoman and you say, you know, leave it to me, I'll sort it out, and when you go into somebody's house and they're in a state of distress, and the first thing you need to do actually is to calm people down. Once they've calmed down, you can go into their houses and find the problem, solve the problem, and as well as that, give them a little bit of advice as to what they can do next time, so they don't have to panic.
So you calm people down, and what kinds of things do you get called out to? What are some interesting plumbing stories?
Well, I live in the countryside, and I got called out to this remote farm once, and what was happening there was that there was no water. So no water coming out of the taps at all. So first thing I did, of course, was have a look at the taps, have a look at the system, try to understand what was going on, turn the taps on. And through talking with the householder, the woman there, she's told me that they were on a spring. So I said, well, where is this? Where is the source? And she took me out, we put our wellies on, we went up a hill, we went up a second hill, and she showed me a stone water butt that had water coming up into it from the hillside. And she said, this is where we get our water from. So that was in itself a bit funny, because I rolled my sleeves up, was feeling around, I felt the hole, and I could feel something in the pipe as the pipe came out. I took it out, and it was a frog. It was alive, I took it out, and I just sort of went like that, and it sort of hopped off and went off, and when we went back down and turned taps on, and hey presto, there was water.
That's kind of pretty unusual.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's kind of the more the sort of thing that most people might encounter?
I do remember once I got a phone call from a guest house owner, and she was in a panic because they had no hot water and they had no heating. And we've got, it was October or something, and she said, we've got 15 guests and we've got no hot water and no heating, and what can we do? And she was in a bit of a panic. But the thing was, she lived about a good 2.5 hours drive away from where I lived, but she wanted a woman, and one of her guests actually came from around where I live, so had told her about me. So she phoned me up, and I was saying, it's 2.5 hours to get to your place, are you sure? She was insisting, she's like, no, please come out, I've heard so many good stories about you, please come out. So I said, okay, well, I got in the car and drove out there 2.5 hours later. I get to the place, I look around, and I just basically just went to the boiler and noticed that the electricity switch next to the boiler was turned off. So I just flicked it on, and hey presto, everything started working. And it turned out that there was an over-enthusiastic guest who'd gone round and turned all the electricity supplies off. So that was. I did get some lunch as well as my really hefty call out.
A hefty call out. Now that's something that plumbers are famous for.
Well, it wasn't that hefty, but yeah.
I suppose you had driven 2.5 hours both directions, 5 hours.
Yeah, it was 5 hours, and that was just driving.
And 2 minutes doing the work.
And 2 minutes doing the work, yeah.
So that's a lesson for us all about the switches.
Yeah.
Anything else that happens to you very interesting?
Oh, lots of interesting things all the time happen to me, all the time, yeah.
Is that part of the attraction?
Yeah. One of the things that really, when I first started plumbing almost 20 years ago, I used to carry everything around with me. My car was full, my van full of tools and things, because I used to think, oh, what if I can't solve the problem, and what if I need this, and what if I need that? And actually what my ambition was just to have one toolbox. And in fact, there it is. My one toolbox, which, with everything in it, I can pretty much solve any problem that I come across. So that was my ambition, was to get down to with people who just had one little toolbox. That's another thing that really attracts me to the job.
But plumbing isn't the only thing you do, I understand. What were you up to just before Christmas?
Oh yeah, just before Christmas actually, some friends of mine had a bit of a get together, and we decided to have a Christmas party. As we talked about it, obviously, look at me, this is what I'm looking like normally. So I was in a bit of a dilemma, and I thought, well, what can I wear? And she said, well, I'll sponsor you if you'll wear the full ball gown and the kit and the stilettos and makeup and all this. So I said, right, you're on. So what we did was we actually changed it from a Christmas party to a charity Christmas ball. And we put the word out, and we told everyone, and I organised it with a group of about 4 or 5 of us. We made a website, we told everyone we knew, and they told everyone they knew. We managed to gather together some awesome auction prizes from people around the world. And what happened was we had a fantastic night on the 18th of December, and we raised £25,000 for the Hunger Project, which, please feel free to look them up. But yeah, so we raised that amount of money, and then what happened after Christmas was that I was approached by 3 people who said, that was such an awesome ball. In fact, one of the people didn't even go to the ball. They heard about it from someone else, and they asked me if I would organise a ball for them. So I do actually have a sideline, which is a balls organising company called Extraordinary Balls Limited.
So we've got Stopcocks Plumbing and Extraordinary Balls, from steel toe caps to stiletto heels.
From steel toe caps to stiletto heels, yeah.
My goodness me. Thank you very much.